Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Coast to Coast Lifestyles with me, Cassie Webb on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and Heather over in the East Seattle area. Heather, how's it going? How's spring? What's up?
It's, dude, not bad. It's been definitely really interesting. I will say that today's stats are not going to be quite what you guys have come to expect from me in our area. Not so volatile and all over the place. Um, but in general, I guess our spring to start there is we've had a couple of what we call false springs because we have a couple of beautiful sunny days and then it's rain for 3 weeks and then it's sunny again and then it's rain for 3 weeks, but it never peaks above 70. uh, but yesterday we had a massive rainstorm and hailstorm, which is really fun. So our weather's kind of been weird too, but excited for summer. It's gonna be great. But now for stats, so we're looking at March stats, which just came out. And so our March stats were really interesting with everything that's kind of been going on in the world, not just last week, but just previous to that. We're seeing a big shift in buying power and buyer confidence more so. So we're starting to see more inventory. We're starting to see some less pendings. Like usually our pendings massively outnumber our new listings. And right now they're kind of neck and neck, which is making our months of inventory increase. So last year, this time we had half a month of inventory. Now we have over a month. But what's most interesting is historically, you can see like we increased pretty significantly year over year, except for the year after COVID, we had a decrease. This is the first time in a while that we've actually had a near flat line from one year to the next. So last year, our median price point in March was 1.682. This year it's 1.7. So not terribly huge of an increase there. And that's largely because, again, there's just not as many buyers out there. When there are buyers who are confident and ready, they jump. And because we still have over half of our listings going multiple offers and going over asking. So it's not like the buyers aren't there, but the buyers who are there are very serious. So we're seeing a lot more of that multiple offer situation. But yeah, so I mean, this is also the first we've been doing stats where we've actually seen pretty much a flat line of the cost of waiting. Usually it's like, oh, year over year, you would have saved $2,000 buying last year versus this year. And now it's like, no, all in all, you saved $160 like waiting till this year. So it's like, so it's really just kind of flatlined for us. But yeah, so it's been a weird market as far as our area goes, but I don't know. It's kind of normalizing nationally speaking, but it's being really weird and volatile locally speaking, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we haven't talked about that would be interesting here soon is like the average mortgage versus average rent. And also like some additional things to consider when you're buy versus rent. Like, yeah, even if your payment was the same or maybe your mortgage is even a little higher, but you're building equity and kind of tying into that. Not that this is the best month for an example, but for the cost of waiting and such, there's other factors that kind of play into it as well. So but yeah, so here we're heating up. I had to show you our beautiful weather map because we get 5 minutes where it's like really great weather. So I think today it's like, right around 70. It's sunny, it's beautiful, but it's not too humid. So we're gonna enjoy that for a few days and then it'll get really hot and muggy. But yeah, everybody's like kind of gearing up. We've got a lot of I'm gonna go over stats real quick. So number of listings is up, which is pretty typical for this time of year. This is the time of year where people start thinking about moving during summer break, and the weather's nice and people are kind of out and about. We also have a lot of military here, as we've talked about in the past. So PCS season is upon us. So we definitely have a lot of kind of moving parts. So our pricing, sold price, median sales price has been, as you can see, kind of up and down. But for the most part, we're pretty close to, where we've been, aside from we had a little bit of a peak here. And then we had a couple of dips. So, I mean, our sales price is pretty strong, but really kind of right about where we were actually like almost 2 years ago. So it's been fairly flat, like kind of what you were saying. Our sales to list price is still really strong. So it's right about, people are getting pretty close. I think the biggest thing, we've kind of talked about this before, what we're seeing is if they're coming on the market price competitive, they're getting that like initial energy and competition, and getting close to asking price or even over asking price, multiple offers. If they're not, they're kind of just more or less sitting there and going stale, because people sometimes are still pricing as if we're in a market that where the prices are still going up and they're relatively flat for the most part. And then our days on the market have been trending down, at least over the last month. So things as expected, really. And then our months of inventory, which of course, they've been listening for any length of time. That's kind of like if we have a crystal ball, which we don't, sadly. But if we do, it's looking at those months of inventory. Are they going downward or are they going upward as to where pricing may go? Because obviously, as the supply goes down, prices typically tend to go up. So we're kind of getting lower on the inventory side. We were actually had our inventory, kind of like what you were saying, had stacked towards the beginning of the year, because it was really slow with election years are always funny, right? So we had the elections, and then it was winter, and it was really cold. Y'all would laugh, but for us, it was cold and things. So it was like kind of a little bit stagnant, but now things are really starting to kind of move. We haven't seen as much, like, it's not like prices have jumped way up or like inventories like cut in half or anything crazy. But I do think, and I mean, we've got a ton of listings that are going to come on the market here soon. Personally, because it's that season, people are just ready to move, do whatever it is they're going to do next. They're selling a property so they can buy another property, or whatever the case may be. So, and then we have some, people who have been sitting on the sidelines that have, rental properties, or maybe have been looking to upgrade or downsize or whatever. They're really just getting to the point, they're like, hey, all right, maybe interest rates aren't going to drop to 2% next month, right? And so they're like, let's just kind of do what's best for us. So as always, definitely reach out to us or your favorite real estate professional if you want to do kind of an analysis of where you are and kind of what your next best step is as it pertains to real estate. So any closing comments, Heather? I've been missing you. We had a couple weeks off, and so yeah.
Yeah, no, nothing for me. Definitely missed you guys, and good seeing your face again, and good being on here again. So it's interesting not being on for a while, and then kind of seeing how stats have changed as well. Because I think last time we did stats was it even February or was it January?
Actually, I think it actually was when we were looking at kind of the recap. So it's probably February actually that we looked at January stats and kind of how the year was starting off. But right now in this world, just day by day, girl.
Oh yeah. And we're getting to the season where we're both going to be really busy, or have already been really busy. So it's it's a fun time. But like I said, it's good seeing you again. So
Yeah. Well, we will be back soon. And as always, if there's anything in particular that you'd love to hear about, we'd love to hear from you. And we will see you hopefully next week.
yay.
Bye.